I hope you kept that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pittsburgh guy here. This next recipe tutorial is plant-based meatloaf. Now, this meatloaf recipe has been in my family, and I tweaked a few things, a little bit spicy, and changed a few ingredients along the way. Instead of ground meat, I'm using plant-based meat, which, I had a dinner, what was it, a couple months ago. There were six of us, five including me. And at the end, I told them, the meatloaf was plant-based. And four out of the five said it was awesome, it was great. And one's like, oh, I knew it was something was wrong. And we always have that one friend that's got to be different. But we're going to go over the ingredients, the steps. It's extremely easy, very easy to make. And then, when you're done, you have your meatloaf. You slice it up. You get like maybe eight, maybe nine slices, depending on how thin or how thick you like it. And you can also use it. You can have meatloaf with corn, mashed potatoes, gravy. You can slice it thin and use it on a pizza, which I'm going to try tomorrow. You can also make meatloaf sandwiches. You can make open-faced meatloaf sandwiches. There's so many things you can do with it. But making it in general, this is just going to be making a meatloaf, the normal meatloaf you've seen all your life, and using plant-based materials and these seasonings, spices, and condiments, pretty much. So here we go.
So we have a mixing bowl, some sort of Pam spray, and a 13 by 9 dish, which is going to go in the oven for the meatloaf itself. Here are all the ingredients that I use. You can mix and match, change things if you want. We have the garlic breadcrumbs. We have some sort of hot sauce for flavor, Italian seasoning, garlic salt, ground cumin, one of my favorite seasonings, and mustard and ketchup. Now these spices here are another set of spices that you can incorporate and substitute with the ones we just mentioned. But there are some that I wouldn't use, like lemon pepper or anything that's more on the flavored side. Now you want to start by turning the oven on 400 degrees, and we're going to cook the meatloaf for 30 minutes, but we'll get back to that part later. So we're going to grab the bowl and grab our plant-based meat, which the brand that I'm using is Beyond Meat, and you want to make sure they're thawed out. And we're going to use 24 ounces of the Beyond Meat. They're 12-ounce packs. So once the plant-based meat is in the bowl, we're going to spray down our 13 by 9 pan or dish, and then we're going to add the breadcrumbs, which is a half a cup. And then we're going to go with our ketchup, which I use the spicy ketchup, 3 tablespoons. And then next I put in the mustard, and the mustard is 1 tablespoon. Actually 2, I'm sorry, 2 tablespoons. And then we go with a tablespoon of each seasoning, or in this case the sauce we use 2. I'm sorry about that. Now the seasonings are 1 tablespoon with the Italian seasoning, the garlic salt, and the cumin. And like I said, you could change it. If you want to spice it up, add some Cajun, or you can add basil seasoning, oregano, onion powder, whatever you want to use. But these are the 3 that I use for this recipe. Once everything is mixed together in the bowl, then we're going to transfer it to the 13 by 9 dish. Make sure you use the Pam spray first, and then once you get it into the dish, you're going to form it into the famous meatloaf shape, and make sure that you get the bottoms really good to form it to be even all the way around, round on the edges, and plump on the top. Next step, once your oven has preheated to 400 degrees, we're going to put it in the oven on the center rack. Now after 30 minutes, I turn the oven off, I pull the meatloaf out, and then I glaze it with the chili sauce, and I mix in a little bit of garlic salt. And then I put it back in the oven for 5 to 6 minutes. And then once we pull it out, you can see now here that the meatloaf is done. And you want to let it cool, because if you try to cut it too soon, it'll fall apart. You want to let it gel together. But once it's done, it has a very nice texture and flavor, and it cuts very easy, as you can see in this picture. Now to make the meatloaf pizza, I take the slices and thin them sliced down to about ½ an inch or a little bit thinner. The one piece in the front is a little bit too thick, but I still put it on. Cover it with the cheese. I use a blend of Monterey Jack, Colby, and mozzarella. And then whenever it's done, I pull it out of the oven, and also, 400 degrees for 15 minutes. And then I cut the pizza first, and then I will put a mixture of butter and garlic and butter the actual crust, the edges. And the reason I cut it first is so that the butter will seep down in between the cracks and incorporate itself all the way through this pizza on the edges. And then I top it off with either Italian seasoning or parsley. And one part that I cut the video short is I also add grated cheese, Parmesan cheese, or you can use Romano or a mixture of both, just to add another little bit of cheese on the top. But it tastes very good. It is a great recipe, and it's plant-based. So if you want to try it, give it a shot. Thank you for watching.